Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the esteemed FaceTime with Leaders, an initiative by World Development Corporation. My name is Tanay Ol, and I'm an anchor at World Development Corporation. FaceTime with Leaders is a platform for industry veterans to come together to share their knowledge, ideas, thoughts, and best practices with one another, as well as with upcoming industry leaders. In a nutshell, we attempt to encapsulate the multi-decadal learnings of all our industry stalwarts. We hope that by conducting these FaceTime with Leader interviews, we can bring together a global community of eminent personalities. By bringing together such visionaries on one platform, we hope to play a part in inspiring the lives of other leaders. Great learnings from great leaders undoubtedly assist everyone as they help us in identifying, working on, and nurturing trade secrets that have already proven a success formula for so many. And this is what we aim for with these sessions by making them a gathering of industry stalwarts and a knowledge sharing community. We have one such corporate titan on FaceTime with Leaders with us today, Ms. Poornima Jagannath. We welcome you on the show, ma'am. She
Thank you.
embodies the essence of executive leadership and board membership, showcasing a distinguished career that spans over 3 decades. With extensive expertise in finance, governance, and leadership, she has consistently driven organizations towards achieving their strategic objectives while enhancing stakeholder value. Throughout her tenure at Iron Mountain Services Private Limited as the site leader, Senior Director of Finance and board member, she has played a pivotal role in the establishment and cultivation of the organization, transforming it into a powerhouse with a workforce exceeding 1,000 individuals dedicated to supporting IT and ITES services. Her strategic initiatives have led to the successful growth and development of Iron Mountain Services, marked by securing regulatory approvals, talent development, and operational scalability, along with robust internal financial controls and compliance with regulatory requirements, and enhancing the global business services team's efficiency through effective coordination between operating companies worldwide and service providers. She has also significantly contributed to board effectiveness by implementing governance, best practices, and spearheading CSR programs aligned with the company's values. So, ma'am, our viewers would like to know in brief about your career journey so far, with highlights on important milestones, decisive professional steps, etc.
Thank you, Tanmay, for that excellent introduction. And thanks for having me today. So it's really a pleasure and an honor for me to be here and sharing my experiences to so many people. And then I hope at least my story will inspire at least one among the audience who are listening to me. So good. So if I have to talk about my journey, of course, everybody will, they say, right, if you have to climb the mountain, it's the first step which matters. So my journey started, first of all, I was very fortunate to have my parents who were very open-minded. So for women leaders to come up in career, it's very, very important to have the family support. And my parents believed, being a middle-class family, we believed in having education, empowering women and all that. And I was also fortunate to get married to a family wherein they were equally supportive of that. So that combination made me come till here. And the first job actually makes a big impact for any professional. So I was equally fortunate to have an organization. I started just after my graduation. I started with a company called SE Engineering. It was a proprietary concern run by husband and wife. So it was a very small organization. But to be frank, the values I learned there in my first job was incredible. And the support I got from that organization, I still feel that that actually nurtured my rest of the career as a leader. Just fresh out of college, if I have to put it in a very nutshell, they supported me for my higher education so that they had the flexibility for me to attend colleges and then do my job. I got my first promotion when I was pregnant. And that's a big thing because none of the big corporates would take that kind of a step. And they had me after a 6 years gap to come back to the career profession. See, these are big milestone. If I had not got that opportunity of coming back to corporate world with their support, I don't think I would be even a professional. I would have just stayed at home because we come from a very conservative family and all that. I was not even looking for job actively. So this actually turned my life, and from there onwards, I've never turned back, and that gave me a lot of confidence And there I learned what as a leader you should do going forward, right? How you have to empower others. So with that experience, what I received, I believe that I should give the same to the society. And throughout my career, I have focused, whenever I'm hiring, I'm focusing on whoever is in need. When they need this kind of a support, I've never hesitated. So that gives me a lot of pleasure. So from there, my journey started. I took a next leap, which was almost 3x level above what I was doing in that company. And it was again an opportunity which came across, and then I took that up. It was quite challenging. It was a multinational company. This was an Indian company, and the complexities were too many, and it was a manufacturing company. So manufacturing has a lot of compliance. So this is where my compliance stint and the learning became very strong, and I just moved on. And that is the place wherein I learned the professional acumen quite well, because I was heading finance and compliance, and this was a manufacturing company with imports, exports, everything. So it was completely complex. And a German company, they are very particular about the documentation and these things. So that gave me a sense of how important the compliance world is, and what is the magnitude and how it impacts the business, how important it is. So from there, I could just learn a lot. Then it was mid of my career. My son was young, and though my in-laws were taking care of him, it was very tough for me to manage. So I shifted to an IT sector, wherein it was a 5-day week. That was the main attraction for me to join that, rather. So then I went there. It was a small startup. So we were around 20 people, and then I felt that everything was so good. But I got an opportunity. I thought, okay, did I go for a smaller organization? I'm handling a much complex thing. But no, when I went there, I got an opportunity to get into multiple things. I was handling finance, I was handling admin, and also I was handling HR. So this is where my HR strength came in. I learned a lot about how to deal with people, how the recruitment happens, and then what are the nitty-gritties and the benefits for employees, which has to be taken care. What are all the compliances in terms of people management, and this sensitivity and the empathy and those things. So from there, it was a very good journey. Within no time, we grew from 20 employees to 350 employees, and there was an acquisition which was happening. And then I was about take care of everything for the due diligence, everything for the acquisition. It was a very successful acquisition, and this was acquired by Iron Mountain. So this was somewhere in 2007. We were doing all the formalities. In 2011, Iron Mountain decided to start a very new division of its own, which is a shared service center. And they picked 5 people who can take care of, who had the technical knowledge. 2 were from the technical side, 1 from HR, and myself. So 4 or 5 of us had to start this entire shared services. This was the wonderful journey for me, I would say, right from the base, just keeping the first brick, to getting all the licenses and then approvals and everything, the strategic planning. So we took a lot of strategic decisions here to set up this organization in a special economic zone. So this actually made us save cost more than 20% throughout the existence of the organization. So we have the indirect tax benefits, direct tax benefits, and all that. So that was one of the major decisions, I would say. I still feel proud of that. We took that decision. It went very well. And then that is how we started. And it picked up very quickly. With 100 people, we insourced from a different third party. We insourced, we started the company. It grew within no time. It came to 300. And in 2017, I was asked to take over the complete operations of the shared service center. From then onwards, under my leadership, I'm so proud that we grew up to 1,000 employees, 20 to 30 different processes. We gave everybody a good work environment. And this was the best period of my life, I would say. I've enjoyed every day and the interactions with the employees, and the challenges and what all we have to do to take care of the organization and the operations. It was a fantastic journey. So this isn't just I could say that this is my journey. And now I am just feeling that the independent directorship will be a better thing for me to pursue forward, so that I can share my experiences, I can bring value to the corporate world. So that's where I'm heading towards. And one thing I really would like to reiterate is that for women, as a women leader, I have to tell this. I'm not saying it's very easy for men to be coming up, but there are a lot of hurdles for women to reach a stage. And that needs a lot of resilience. I would really urge all the women leaders, like whenever you feel like, okay, no, it's enough, I should give up, please don't give up. So it's all a temporary thing. It depends on the resilience. And I wish more and more women leaders coming forward for the senior positions. Even now, the percentage of women workforce is very, very low in India. So I would say that though the educated women are many, but the ratio of people who are really in the professional world are low below the expected ratio. So I would really urge that. And this is the just for my career.
Ma'am, how do you prioritize objectives and align them with the overall organizational strategy?
Okay, this is a good question. So for alignment, basically, I would say, there are three major things. There are, of course, a lot of other points. I would categorize into three. One is the clarity. Clarity from the top management of what are the objectives, what is the outcome, how and what we want to achieve. See, many of the organizations will not be clearly articulating this. That creates a lot of confusion from the person who is actually executing at the ground level. So I would say the clarity is the most important thing. The senior leaders, executives should know what is the objectives. It should be aligned with the vision and mission of the organization, and they have to make it very, very clear. And that should be like cascaded down to all the levels. Another part for the clarity is that everybody who is doing their job should have a role clarity and what is their responsibilities and what they're expected to do. If that is having any ambiguity, believe me, it cannot be a successful journey. So clarity is the first C, I would say. The next thing is communication. So you have clarity. So you can imagine an organization has multiple levels, multiple people, multiple stakeholders are there, and managers should multiple levels of managerial things, right? So from the top, when it comes down, each manager has to communicate to the next level as clearly as possible. And the very key thing for communication, I would say, is it depends on the audience, right? You cannot communicate the same thing to all levels. So you need to break it down and say that, hey, what they have to know, they definitely have to know. And at least they should know what they're doing, why they're doing. If they don't know why they're doing something, it will never be a successful journey, right? So that communication is a very, very key thing. These two C's will give another C, that is the commitment. When the clarity and communication are really good, the commitment automatically comes from all the levels, right? So I think these are the three things comes to the top of my mind to align to the organizational goals. People should be able to visualize the big picture and align what they have to do. So this is what I feel. Personally, I would do for the team the same thing.
Ma'am, you have long proven leadership prowess. Our viewers would like to know some factors that you swear by as great leadership value adds.
Okay. So leadership per se, if you say that, if you ask me to talk about it, I can go for hours because it's a very, very vast subject. But okay, I can just make it little more simpler, or maybe in the layman's perspective, how the leadership should look like, right? If I have to say that, first and foremost thing, the leader should be confident. He or she should be having that self-belief and also self-awareness. Not that just because I'm very confident, I cannot just oh, I'm very confident, so I can go and play IPL. That's not possible, right? So I will have to know what is my capabilities, what is that I can contribute. So that's first and foremost thing a leader should have. Next thing is the curiosity, creativity, and innovation. Not that the leader himself or herself should be very creative, very innovative, they should know everything. That's not the fact. No leader is expected to know everything. No leader is expected to create everything. But the leader's job is to create an atmosphere wherein you will bring in the creativity, ideas, innovations of everybody around you and encourage the teams to come up with what can work out, how it can be done, and what is important for the business, how it can bring value. So these kind of things, unless you create an atmosphere, nobody will come forward. Nobody will share your ideas. The way this platform has been created, right? So everybody can come and share what they feel and everything. So that's one of the major things what the leader has to do. The third thing is the analytical skills and to have the right decision making. You have the information, say there are a lot of ideas which is getting floated and so many people are thinking that this is what we have to do. But at the end of the day, it's the leader's job to analyze with the data, with facts and figures, and then say, hey, this is the right thing to be picked up. This is going to be a beneficial thing. So the decision based on the facts, because it's not possible that, okay, I have a gut feel, then I will go ahead with that. That won't work. You need to play with the data. You need to analyze the data, whether it is right, wrong. So that is the way you can move forward. And that's where the leader's contribution comes in as the decision making. And of course, even if you do the best things, there will be some ups and downs in the business. During the tough time, how resilient you are, how will you hold the team together? You cannot be like showing any panic. You need to motivate the team. You need to show that resilience so that the entire team gets the motivation and courage to move forward. That's very, very important. One last thing, which is the most essential thing, I would say, which is kind of undermined in today's leadership, is the empathy. Nobody gives that much of importance as to what it should get. But I feel that's the most important thing. We can talk about corporates, business, world, profits, everything. End of the day, we are all human beings. We cannot forget the fact that just raising 1% of EBITDA is, if it is impacting 1,000 people in a negative way, as a professional, as a finance professional also, I would never want that 1% profit. Rather, I would think of the advantage for the 1,000 people, right? So that empathy is one. I remember recently I heard in the news that I think it was Twitter, and they have just sacked employees with just one email. That's not empathy. I don't think, right? So those kind of things is very, very essential for today's leadership. I would say it's not the corporate leadership, it's the entire leadership, like what we are seeing in the world, the wars, the frustrations. So I think that's the most significant thing. I would say empathy is on top of everything.
Ma'am, with your exposure to governance best practices, how and when did you feel the need to upscale yourself with corporate governance?
Okay. So corporate governance is like, if I have to put it across, it's the same healthcare, what we say, right? We know that we need to eat right, we need to eat healthy, we need to hit the gym and everything, but we don't see the impact every day. So governance is also like that. If you're not doing it, then when something goes wrong, the person who is doing all these things will be able to recover quickly compared to a person who has not cared about his health. So governance is also like that. So you need to do it diligently every day. And the best way to learn is to fail. So I had my worst kind of situation for the corporate governance. I was heading this startup company I mentioned, right? It was an STPI registered company, that means Software Technology Park of India. There are some regulations. I came from the manufacturing side. I was not having the complete clarity on the nuances of all these things. and there was a regulation for renewing the STP license every 5 years. I joined this company when it was in the 5th year of operation. And this is a very new nitty-gritty for software, which I was not aware, completely ignorant. But I had made a lot of efforts to make sure that all the other compliances are in place. But when I got to know, we realized it after a year that we have not really renewed it. And this came from a customs officer, and he was so rude and telling on my face that, hey, don't you even know this much? And that day was, I'll tell you, that was the miserable day I could feel. That is when I realized even a small bit is going to, I was feeling bad because I have put the company in that position, because it was my 100% accountability and responsibility to do that. I failed in that. So then I put my heart and soul to course correct that. And that is when I could realize how the government officials do help you. And also they can be really tough, right? I got a very good support from one of the then commissioner of STPI. He really supported me. And then we could sail through because we had complied with all other regulations. So it was very evident that it was just a technical error because of ignorance. And that is when, so it actually slipped the eyes of the auditors. They have to point out it should be caught by the consultants what we had. It slipped there. And of course, I was completely ignorant of it. So it slipped from there. So then we could do it, we could right the wrong. But that is when I could realize that even a small thing can put the organization into a big, big trouble. We would have undergone a huge penalty. All the benefits we had enjoyed for 1 year on the taxes, we had to pay a heavy tax liability with interest, with penalty. It would have been a disaster. But by God's grace, because all other compliance was there, I could sail through. But that was a big lesson for me. So you need to really be on top of it, right? But I just want to say one thing. Technical errors can be corrected. A deliberate fraud and default, it can be delayed, but it will definitely caught. So that is something which everybody should know. It cannot escape anybody's eyes. Our regulators are so good. They've come up with so many regulations. So it will be caught. It's not the way to go there.
Ma'am, as a corporate governance expert, what values do you bring to the table?
Okay. So as I shared, my experiences with multiple industries, multiple functions like finance, HR, compliance, operations. So now I know overall for the business, what is important in terms of corporate governance and what are the reasons why it can take a backseat, right? Because if you imagine a startup, the people who will be more worried about what is our product or a service, how do we improvise that, how do we get it to the market, and these things will be on top priority. But when you do all those things right also, just one mistake of corporate governance can even shut the business. So I would definitely look forward to help all the startups, be it whatever industries, to guide them, nurture them. Probably as an independent director, I can share my leadership values. I can definitely guide them to come up with the corporate governance framework and make sure their objectives, their goals, their business goals can be met seamlessly without any hiccups, and then make them more profitable, because the tax planning itself will fetch you a lot of profit gain, right? That's I told you, like, that more than 20% of the operations cost we could reduce only because of one tax planning. So imagine there are multiple things. So I think I can definitely add value in that space. Yeah.
Ma'am, what prospects do you see with the advent of IoT, AI, ML, blockchain, cloud, digital twin, big data, and Web 3.0 in your field?
Okay. So couple of years before, we never imagined that the digital transactions would be so high. We still remember companies planning their financial transactions based on the bank holidays, right? now there has been so much of technological advancement that we don't even remember when we last went to an ATM, right? So that's the pace in which everything is going forward. And with the advent of AI, I don't know, it sometimes is slightly scary the way the pace at which it is going, but definitely there is a paradigm shift which is going to come with the AI, because today morning news I was hearing that IMF chief was saying AI is going to hit the job market like a tsunami. So this is the word from the IMF. There are so many advantages because the speed in which we are doing things today, we can imagine that's going to like reduce considerably. Whatever we are taking days might be done in minutes going forward with the advent of AI, and especially some of the jobs like the customer care and everything. The experience of customer is going to be multifold better with AI and all these things. And today it is like from our grocery shopping to waging wars. It's technology, right? Everything is technology. But it's known fact that any technological advancement will come as a package of use and misuse. When it comes to misuse, I think it's very scary because none of the countries have not like really made a deep analysis of what might be the impact which is going to happen with the misuse of this technology. And we have already seen so many cases which have been filed on the deep fake and AI driven things and so many cyber crimes. The earlier era of cyber crimes, we are not able to actually address. Now with the advent of all this technological advancement, I think it's really, really a very tough one. So the need of the hour today is for all the countries to come up with the framework for use of AI or any other technology in the best safe environment. It's really required, and it's advancing at a very fast pace. We are already behind. We are already behind with the framework. All the privacy issues which are coming up, it's very scary. So I think we all have to upgrade ourselves to understand how technology is moving, so that tomorrow corporate governance, I should be ready to say that, okay, these are the risks, how I will mitigate and all those things. I think we are all in the learning phase and we have to be like buckling our shoes very quickly. Yeah.
Ma'am, we're building a community here of industry magnates. The move is meant for cross-pollination of knowledge and building a knowledge-sharing community of corporate giants and industry experts. What are your thoughts about this initiative taken by Mr. Zishan Pathan, Mr. Eval Mehta, and the whole World Development Corporation team?
If I have to put it in one sentence, hats off for the efforts what they're doing. And I think Zishan and Havel, they're doing a wonderful job. Even I would congratulate the entire team for coming up with this kind of an initiative wherein, see, we cannot learn from our own mistakes, our own experience. Exchange of these kind of information, it's a big treasure for the community. Each one can learn, each one can advance very quickly by what to be done, what not to be done, how do we have to, and also the reach, right? The network, what you will be building, people can reach out to the right people, and then mentoring and so many stuff. It's a great platform wherein they're actually bringing all of the experts together. And I think this is one of the wonderful initiative they have taken. And I'm so glad that I'm today with this platform and talking to you. I'm sharing my ideas. That credit also goes to Zishan and Havel. I would say I really thank this platform, and it's been wonderful getting associated with all of you.
Great, ma'am. It was fantastic conversing with you, and I'm confident that your insights will truly inspire future leaders. Thank you so much once again for joining us, and wish you the best for your future endeavors.
Thank you, Stanay. It's really wonderful talking to you.
Same here, ma'am. Please have a great day.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.